Hello there, crochet. So I always wanted to make a shrug that doesn't look exactly like the way we know a normal shrug looks. I wanted to make one that looks like a sweater and is cropped. So this was the idea that I came up with, and I hope you love this tutorial. It's a really simple one. It's just double crochets and a single crochet. So let's get right into the tutorial. So for this shrug, I'm going to use this color mustard, and this is just a sample of when I was working on the idea. So what we'll be working on is you're going to take your bust measurement and then divide it by 2, because you're going to have the front panel and the back panel. So when you take your bust measurement, divide it by 2, you're going to chain multiples of 7 until you get half of your bust measurement. Okay, so I just want to give you a brief idea of how we are working on this, so that whenever I'm working on it, it doesn't look so hard. So after we've made the multiples of 7, the way we are working on the rows is like this. So after you've worked on row 1, when you're working on the second row, you'll be seeing me turning my work just to work on the upper part, and then turning my work again, and then there'll be a lot of like chaining 10 and what. So whenever I'm turning my work, you should be really keen, because if you don't turn and work on the upper part, you won't be able to get this kind of shape. We just have this row and this row, so there will be a lot of turning to work on this up part, and then turning again to continue going ahead. So let's just get right into it. So you're going to take your yarn. The yarn I'm using is Robin. It's a lightweight yarn, so I'll be using a double strand for this. For some people, when they're using double strands, they use 2 balls of yarn, but then for me, I just take the yarn that comes from the inside and the one from the outside, and I have my double strand like that. So you're going to make a chain multiple of 7 until you get half of your bust measurement. I'll let you know how many chains I made. So make a slip knot. And then make sure that it's not like exact, like let's say if your bust measurement is 40, instead of making 20 inches, make like 25 inches, so that the top is just not like too tight on your body, so that it looks like a shrug. So you add 5 extra inches just to make it a little bit, you know, like a shrug. But if you want it to be fitting on your body, just make the exact, like if it's 40 inches, just make the exact 20 inches. So I made 17, almost 18 inches. This is 18 inches. And if you don't have a tape measure, you can also just take it like this, and then just place it on your bust area from one armpit to the other armpit. That can also let you know like how many chains to make. So I made a total of 84 chains. The number of chains that you make does not really matter. Like, let it not give you an anxiety if you have like 70, because you're just repeating the same things. Like what you're working on is just multiples of 7. So no matter how many chains you have, as long as it's a multiple of 7, let it not stress you up. So after you've made your number of chains, so mine is 84, I'm going to add 7 more chains. After the 7 chains, you're going, the one that you started with, you're going to skip all those 7 chains, and then you're going to do a double crochet on the 8th one. All the ones that you added, you're going to skip them all, and then do a double crochet on the 8th one. After that, you're going to do 4 more double crochets. So that is the first one. After 5 double crochets, you're going to chain 2, skip 2, and then I do 5 double crochets again. So I'm going to do that till the very end. 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, until you are left with 2 chains at the end. So work on that first row, and then I'll meet you when you're at the end. 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2. So I've done the last, I'm doing the last 5, so this is 4, and then the 5th double crochet. And now you have 2 more chains left. You're not going to do anything with these 2 chains, you're just going to leave them hanging, because with those 2 chains you're going to work a certain this is it, the upper side, just to give this side a border. We'll need those 2 double crochets so that you can be able to like connect the edging. So leave these 2 chains hanging, and then after that you're just going to chain 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. After chaining 15, you're going to turn your work. You're going to do the same thing. Do a single crochet right here on the last double crochet. Do a single crochet and chain 2 again, and then do the other single crochet on the first double crochet. So the single crochet, you're doing 1 at the last double crochet of that set of 5. You chain 2, you skip the space, and then you do the other single crochet at the first one of the cluster of 5. So you do the other single crochet right there. After that, you're going to turn your work. So you're going to turn your work, and then you're going to work upwards. That's why I told you to begin, because there'll be a lot of like turning your work and all that. So after you've done the last single crochet, you're going to turn your work, because you're going to work upwards. You're going to do double crochets going upwards. So you're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. After the 5 double crochets, now instead of chaining 50, you'll only be chaining 50 when you are starting, but then in between you'll be chaining 10. So after the 5th double crochet, you're going to chain 10. And 10. After the 10 double crochet, you're going to turn your work. Okay, so you turn your work so that you can join it to the main work, which is by doing a single crochet here, chain 2, skip the space, and a single crochet here. Okay, single crochet, chain 2, skip this space, and a single crochet, and then you turn your work again like that. And then now you're going to work going up. So you're going to do double crochets going up, and you're going to do a total of 5 double crochets going up. After the 5 double crochets again, you're going to chain 10 again. So after chaining 10, you connect it to the main work, which is by single crochet, that last double crochet like that, chain 2, skip the space, and then single crochet right there on that first one. Okay, and then when you turn your work, what you'll be doing is 5 double crochets going up. And that is just it. You're going to do this until you get to the very end of your work. If you haven't gotten it yet, you can still rewind back so that you can grasp it, because we'll be repeating just 2 rows. Like that, and then you chain 10 again. So you're almost getting to the end of this. So you're left with this part. You're going to chain 10. Turn our work, and then you do 1 single crochet here. And that last double crochet, chain 2, skip 2, and on top of the 3rd chain over there, you're going to do another single crochet like that, and then you're going to turn your work and do the 5 double crochets. Make sure you're doing them on the chains, because when you do it on the space, the way we do shrugs, it won't look it won't take the shape, it will look weird. And you're done with that row like that. For that, we're going to chain 5. When starting the next row, we're going to chain 5. 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we're going to skip this place where we have the double crochets, and then on top of this space we have 5 chains left, because the total number of chains was 10. We worked 5 double crochets on the first 5. Now we have another 5 chains left, you get? So on top of these other 5 chains, we're going to work 5 double crochets. So just make sure you work it on the chain and not the space. So you're just going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So chain 5, skip this area over here, which will act as chain 2, and then 5 double crochets on the 5 chains, and then we're going to chain 2, skip these double crochets, and then work another 5 double crochets just on top of the chains. So this is just what you're going to do for this row till the very end. Three and 4 and 5, and again chain 2, skip this, which will be considered as 2 chains, and then work again 5 that. So what you're doing, you're just doing the same thing as what we did on row 1, which is 5 double crochets, skip, chain 2, skip 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip 2. So the same, just like the same thing that we worked on row 1. So we'll be repeating row 2 and row 3. We'll be repeating these rows until we get to the height that we want. So I'm going to finish this row 3, but then I'm going to show you how to do row 2 again, because row 2 is the one that is a little challenging. I'll show you how to do that again. And then after I show you that, how to do row 2 again, now I'll leave you to work until you get the length that you desire. So work row 3, and then I'll meet you so that we can do row 4 together. So and then when you've done this last one, you're going to chain 2, and then on top of that last chain, you're going to do the 5 double crochets. 1, like that. So when you're starting row 4, what you'll be doing is chain 15 first. You turn your work, and then you do a single crochet here, chain 2, and another single crochet right there. After that single crochet, you're going to turn your work again, and then you're going to work double crochets going up. So you work 5 double crochets going up. After those double crochets, you chain 10. After chaining 10, you turn your work and then you connect it right here with a single crochet, chain 2 and another single crochet here, and then you turn and work upwards. So it is just you always start with 15. After 15, you connect it by single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then you work up. When you get up here after the 5th single crochet, you work 10 chains. After 10 chains, you connect it with single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then you work again going up, which is by doing 5 double crochets. And after that, we just continue with chain 10, single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then you work 5 double crochets going up, and then chain 10 again. So you repeat that until the very end. When you get to the end, you're going to chain 5, and then you do 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip, 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip, like that. So it will be a repeat of row 2 and row 3. Yeah. So when you get here, chain 10 again. Turn your work, do a single crochet here, chain 2 and another single crochet right there, and then you turn your work and then you work 5 double crochets going up. I hope like I've really explained it well enough for you to be able to understand and do it. So you're going to repeat row 2 and 3 until you get the length that you want. You can make it to a full sweater, like it goes up to your waist length. For me, I'm going to make it a half cropped sweater, so I'm going to work it until I get to like half a sweater length, like just below the boob area, like the same length we usually do a shrug. That is the length I'm going to do. I'll let you know how many rows I did after I've done, because I'll be doing it while measuring it on myself. So I'll let you know how many rows and how many inches I worked. So worked it for this as long as you want it to be, and then I'll meet you so that you can work on the back panel. So I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So the last row you're doing will be the row whereby you start with 15 double crochets. The row whereby you do the double crochets going up. This row right here should be your last row, so that the row that you'll be working on will help us to create the neck area. And the row that is easier to create the neck area with is the row that has the double crochets, chain 2. So after that, you're going to measure from one end to another, and then you're going to subtract about 10 to 12 inches for the neck area. That is for half of the side, the front of the back panel. You're going to subtract 12 inches. So if you have 20 minus 12, you have 8. So 8 divided by 2, you have 4 inches on this side and 4 inches on this side. So for example, for me, I have 18 inches. 18 minus 12, that is 6. So I'll have 3 inches on this side and 3 inches on this side, and then I'll be left with 12 inches in the middle for the neck area. So for me to achieve that, I'll be able to skip 2 spaces, skip 2 spaces in 2 of these like double crochets below. So I'll be skipping 1 like that, then 2. So like this is a total of 14 stitches, because it's 5, 6, 7, and then 5, 6, 7 again. So this is 14. So I'll have, this is after I measured my stitch marker right there, and then on this side too, 5, 6, 7, 5, 6, 7. So right here, right there. So here I have 3 inches, 3 inches, and then 12 inches in the middle. So what we'll be doing, we're going to bring in the neck area. I'll just show you how you're going to do that. So this is the place where you first chain 5 and 5, and then you'll do double crochets, skip double crochets until you get the stitch marker. After you get to where the stitch marker is, you can remove it. And then now what you're going to do, you're going to chain number of chains that are equal to the number of chains that are on this side. So you can just count it in like multiples of 7. So this is like when you take this and this here, this makes 7, 7, 7, like that. So you can just say every box is 7. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. So you say 8 times 7, and then you make that as the number of chains for you. So as for me, this is going to be 56. So I'm going to chain 56, and then I'm going to connect it to this stitch marker over here. After I've chain 56, I'm going to connect that to the other side. So right here I was supposed to chain, so you just find out what you're supposed to do. Like right here I'm supposed to chain 2, so I'll start by chaining 2, and then here I was supposed to make 5 double crochets, chain 2, and then 5 double crochets again. So when you're finished doing that, you're going to go to the next one, and the next one what we'll be doing is this row right here, whereby I'll be chaining 15 first. And then you turn your work, and then right here on top of the 5th double crochet, you do that, chain 2, and again you do that, and then you turn your work again, 5 double crochets, then you chain 10, so the number of stitches that we usually skip here are 1, 2, 3, and then 4, which is on the 5th double crochet. Right there you do a single crochet. Then now because we don't have this anymore, we just have chains, you're going to be counting. So we skip 2, and on the 3rd one you do a double crochet again. Oh, you chain 2 first before chain 2, skip 2, and then on the 3rd do a single crochet, turn your work, then you do 5 double crochets, and 2, chain 10, and then now that you're going to count, we'll be counting immediately the next stitch. Count 1, 2, 3, and 4. On top of that fourth one, you do the first single crochet, okay? And then you chain 2, and then you skip 2, and then you do another single crochet, okay? So you'll be skipping, you skip 3 single crochet, skip 2 single crochet, okay? Skip 3 single crochet, skip 2 single crochet. If you see here, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It makes a total of 7 stitches. So just make sure in every batch that you make it is equal to 7 stitches. So skip 3 single crochet, skip 2 single crochet, and then you turn your work and do the double crochets going up. After the 5th double crochet, you chain 10 again, after chaining 10, you go back to your chains, skip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then on the 4th one you do a single crochet, chain 2, skip 2, and then single crochet, and then turn your work and work the double crochets going up. You are going to do that until you get to the very end of this chain. You're going to work that until you get to, when you get to this place, you'll do one here, one. I'll show you when we get to this place, and then right here you can, it's so easy until the end, and then we just continue and do the same thing we did on this side of the top, we do on the other side of the top, and then we'll have our front and our back panel. So continue until you get to the last one here. I'll show you how we connect. So we're almost doing the last one before we get to the other two. So we are here. So first of all, skip 3, and then you do the first single crochet right there, and then chain 2, skip 2, and then you do the other single crochet somewhere right there. You turn, chain 10, turn your work again, and then right here we do single crochet, chain 2, and single crochet, and then so I'll just finish it up with the double crochets, and then until I get to that very end. So when you're done with this row, you're going to do the row of first chaining 5, and then you do skip 2, 5 double crochets, chain 2, skip at this point 5 double crochet. You know how it goes, yeah? So make sure you do, and make sure the number of rows on this side are equal to the number of rows on this side, and I'll meet you when this side is equal to this side, so that you can work on the sleeve area. So now I finished both the front and the back panel. This measures 10 inches for both of them. So if you have finished that, now you're going to work the last part. Remember I told you to leave 2 chains hanging while you are doing the first row. So that is where we come in right now. We'll be working on this edge. If you can see this other edge, it feels more complete because it ends with the row of 5 double crochets and chain 2, while this other row, as you can see, it doesn't end so neatly. So that is the reason as why we left those 2 chains, so that we can work a single row on this side, so that it looks the same on this side. So just work on that really quick so that we can work on the sleeves. So make sure the last row that you did is a row of 5 double crochets and chain 2. That is the only row that will allow you to end on this side, because if you finish with the other row, you will be on this side and you won't do what you're about to do. So make sure you end with a row of 5 double crochets and chain 2. After that, we're just going to place our hook. So you're going to do the row of 5 double crochets and chain 2. So the way we start that row is by first chaining 5. After chaining 5, you're going to do 5 double crochets in the spaces. So right where there is a chain, you do 1 and 2, third one, and the 5th one, and then you chain 2, skip this one right here, and then do 5 double crochets here. And you can still get it, like it's just the same thing we've been working on with the other front and back panel. So do this until you get to the very end, and then we just attach on top of the first chain there. So continue doing this until the very end. So after you've done the last double crochet, what you're going to do, you're going to chain 2, and then you're going to slip stitch on top of the first, the one at the very end, that chain at the very end. You're going to slip stitch, chain 1, and then you can cut your yarn. But then instead of cutting your yarn, because you're also going to attach these 2 panels until we are able to leave the sleeve length, you can just leave your yarn the way it is, and then you can measure where your sleeve length is, and then you're going to attach the rest of the part. So when it comes to attaching the 2 panels together, you're going to determine the right side and face the right side, place the right side facing each other. The right sides have a little like bumpy area, and then this is how the wrong side looks. So you're going to place the right sides facing each other, and then you're going to attach the 2 panels together after subtracting the area where you have the sleeve length. To determine the sleeve length, you can take a sweater that you already have, and then you can measure it, and then you can measure it here, and then you're going to attach the remaining part. You can also place it around your bicep area. Like you can determine if you want it to be really like tight or like loose. You can just place it and then determine the length that you want. So I'm going to use this top to measure. So this, when it goes around like this, is the entire length. So for us to determine half of it, we just measure from here to here. So when I measure that, that is 8.5. So I'll take from here to here, I'll measure 8.5. that is up to here. So that means I'll only connect from this part here and from this space to until this other space. So the remaining part here I'll leave it for the sleeve. So to connect, if you already did cut your yarn, it's still okay. You can just attach your yarn, and then after connecting you use the same yarn to work on the sleeve. So I'm going to like pull it through this other side like that. Chain one, and then going through the chains like this, you go through the first one and then the one at the back like that. You're going to join using a slip stitch like that. And then on top of those double crochets, on top of those double crochets, you're going to join using a slip stitch. Joining like that, you're going to chain one, and that's it. So this is our sleeve. You can make it a short sleeve or a long sleeve, whichever you feel is best for you. So you're going to work on a long sleeve, so you can turn your work back on the right side and then just bring your yarn through. So now you're going to work in rounds. So you're going to first start by chaining 15. 1, after chaining 15, you're going to do the same thing you were doing with the other rows, which is do a single crochet right here, chain 2, and then another single crochet like that. So just from the right where from where you started, you're going to chain 15, and immediately on the next piece you're going to do the single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then you're going to turn your work and you're going to do the 5 double crochets while going up. After doing the 5 double crochets, you're going to chain 10. You'll have to attach new yarn. So you chain 10. Chaining 10 again, single crochet, chain 2 and a single crochet, and then you turn your work and you're going to work the 5 double crochets. After working the 5 double crochets, you chain 10 again. And then we just do the same thing. You come to the next space, you make a single crochet, chain 2 single crochet, chain 10. You have the double crochets going up, and then you chain 10. So you're going to do that until you come back to this space, and then I'll show you how we'll connect that. So what you're going to do here at the very end is you're going to make single crochet right there, chain 2, and on top of where we did chain 15 right there, you're going to do another single crochet, and then you turn your work and you do the double crochets going up. Whoa. And then after that, what you're going to do, you're going to count on where the chain 15 is. You're going to count 5 stitches up, and then you're going to slip stitch on the 5th stitch. So 1 2 3 4. On top of that 5th stitch, you're going to slip stitch right there. Like that. Okay. Then after the slip stitch, you're going to chain 5. Then you turn your work, and then you're going to work on the row of double crochets. So after chaining 5, right next to that space where you have the chains, you're going to do 5 double crochets on top of every chain. So after chaining 5, after doing 5 double crochets, you chain 2, and then on the next space again you do 5 double crochets. And you're just going to do that all around until you come back and slip stitch. And then chain 2 again, and then so you're just going to do that all around. So remember, when you're working on this second row, working on the inside, and then when you're working on the other row, you'll be working on the outside. So we are almost getting to the end. I just did the last double crochet right here, like that. After that, we're just going to slip stitch right on top. I did chain 5 on the 3rd chain right there on top of it. We're just going to slip stitch right there. Okay, so that is just it. Chain 15, turn your work, and then you're going to work the row of single crochet, chain 2, single crochet, and then turn your work again, work double crochets going up, just the same thing. So you're just going to alternate these 2 rows until you're able to get the length of the sleeve that you're looking for. So I'm going to work on the sleeve, and then I'll let you know how many inches I made for the sleeve. Then after that, we'll also work on the other side, and then we'll just do a little bit of ribbing on the wrist area here, not really the waist area, but where the top has ended, and then also on the neck area, and then that will just be it for the top. So let's work on the sleeve first, and then I'll meet you when I'm done with one side of the sleeve. So I finished the sleeve, and I did how many spaces? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So these are 10 spaces, so that makes it 20 rows. So I did a total of 20 rows. So after the sleeve, you're going to make a ribbing. So ribbing is just to make it look like a sweater, but you can still leave it at this point. That will still be okay. So what you're going to do, you're going to do 1 single crochet in every stitch all around. So do a single crochet there, 3, 4, and 5. You can skip the chain 2 and go immediately to the next stitch, because as you can see, this is so big. So just as a way of doing a decreasing, we can skip the chain 2 spaces. So skip the chain 2 spaces and go directly to the other set of 5 and do 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 5 like that. So do that, and then you'll come and slip stitch on top of the first one, and then you'll work on the ribbing. So I'm already done with the single crochets. So I'm going to attach these 2 together. So I'm going to attach from the inside, because this is the outside of the top. So you can turn your top inside out to make it easier, but then you're just going to place these 2 together like this, and then you're going to make slip stitches until the very end. So that you're just going to finish, you're just going to tie your yarn and cut the ends. And then you do the exact same thing on the other side too. When you're done with the other sleeve, we'll work on the neck area. As you can see, the neck area, we don't have the row of 5 double crochets and chain 2. The last row that we have on the neck area is a row whereby you do the 10 chains. Okay, so you're going to connect your yarn and you're going to work that row of 5 double crochets and chain 2. So just find any edge somewhere like here. Touch your yarn. So after attaching your yarn, make sure the edge that you are attaching your yarn is at the very end of let's say the area where you've done 5 double crochets going up, the edge of it, that is where you should attach your yarn, because you need to chain 5 and start doing our double crochets here. Okay, so chain 5. After chaining 5, you're going to do 1 double crochet in the spaces in every chain. You do 1 double crochet, 5 double crochets, and then you chain 2. After chaining 2, you go to the next space and then you do again 5 double crochets. So do that until you come back to this, and then you'll join it at the top of this chain here. At this point, yours also looks like this, whereby you're going to go to the other back panel. What you're going to do after you chain 2, because right here you're supposed to chain 2, you can do 5 double crochets on top of that that one that joins the front of the back panel. And then you chain 2 again. Now you continue doing the rest of it. So now I'm going to finish up here with 5 double crochets. And then you're going to join that on top there, like that. You chain 1, and then now you're going to work on the outer side. So on the outer side, the same way we worked on the sleeve, but now you're not going to do a ribbing. You're just going to work a single row of single crochet to just give it a clean finish, and to also just decrease a little. So the same way we did the ribbing, when you're doing the outer side, whereby you do 1 single crochet in every stitch, but then you skip the spaces. 1 single crochet in every stitch, but then you skip the spaces like that, and then 1 single crochet on top of the 5 double crochets. Skip that space on top of the next 5 double crochets like that. Then you just slip stitch on top of the first single crochet that you did when you finish, and that is just it for the neck. I really don't want to complicate the neck, but then if you like, you can do a ribbing for the neck. But as for me, I don't want to complicate the neck. This is going to be just it. We'll do a little ribbing at the bottom of the top. When you're done with the neck area, for me, I'm going to leave it at that, but then you can do a little ribbing. And then on the bottom part, you're going to do the exact same thing that you did for the sleeve area. You're going to do it at the bottom part. So what you're going to do, you're first going to do 1 single crochet all around while skipping the spaces. You remember how you're doing it? 1 single crochet, you skip the space, you go. So find 1 corner, and on that corner on the side, attach your yarn. Chain 1, and then you're doing 1 single crochet in every stitch while skipping the spaces like that. So do that all around until you come back the same point, and then I'll show you how to work on the ribbing. I want to do chain 10, the same as the wrist. I'll do chain 5 because I don't think I have the patience, but you can also still do chain 10 or even more, like it's up to you. So after you're done with the single crochets, you're going to do the same thing we did, which is chain the number of chains that you want the ribbing to be. I'll be chaining 5, 2, 3, 5, and then I'll add 1 extra for me to turn, and then after that we do 1 single crochet in every chain. After that, we're going to slip stitch on the inside. So if you want the bottom part of the top to be like loosely fitting, like the way a shrug is, you're going to slip stitch twice. Then if you want the bottom of the top to be fitting, like the ribbing to be fitting like on your below your bust area around your tummy, if you want it to be fitting, you're going to slip stitch thrice. Okay, I know that difference. So I'll be slip stitching 3 times, and then again we do 1 single crochet, back loop, chain 1 and turn. So do that until you come out the same place, and then you'll join these two, and yeah, I'll let you know how it looks after that. So this is the ribbing at the bottom part. I did not complete it entirely because I ran out of yarn, so I did the front part. The back part is not finished yet, but then it will look perfect when I'm done with it. So this is how it looks right now, and I think even if you leave it as a shrug, it will still look nice. So yeah, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you on the next tutorial.